Hey guys, and thanks for stopping by. Now, I'm supposed to be continuing doing the Avengers S.H.Figuarts action figures, Infinity War action figures, but I decided I'll stop briefly and do the Endgame Thanos because I just got it from Japan. Actually, I got the entire wave 1, which was Thanos, Ant-Man, and Black Widow. So I'm going to do Thanos first, then jump back to the Infinity War ones, and then carry on with Endgame. So here's the new packaging for Thanos in the box. Avengers Endgame packaging is using brand new white crisp looking packaging with the Avengers blue logo in the front and a slightly altered cutout for the window. Still looks pretty good. It looks fresh. Looks kind of like paracetamol or toothpaste, something that you might see in your pharmacist or drugstore. But I like what it's doing so far. Very simple. Not a lot of clutter on the front, which is perfect, I think. On the side is just very simple S.H.Figuarts Thanos and then the Avengers symbol. And then on the back is photograph of the figure. This one's decked out in his armor, which Infinity War Thanos wasn't armorless, so that's the main difference between this. He does come with an Infinity Gauntlet. I'm not going to talk about spoilers in these videos or unboxings. I'm just going to purely talk about the figure as is, so don't worry about any sort of spoilers. It does come with a hologram sticker. Hologram stickers, by the way, I haven't mentioned them in the past, but these seem to be pretty much a standard moving forward. In the past, they didn't really used to have this seal of approval or seal of quality, but it seems like all Tamashii Nation figures, S.H.Figuarts, now have this on them. I have heard some still don't include them, but it looks like mine all include them for at least the last year, I think, or at least half a year. But let's get this thing open now. And here is Thanos out of the box. So I'm going to go through the parts first, and then I'll go through the figure, which I have a few good things to say and a couple of things that are more on the annoying side with this particular figure, or maybe it's just my one. First, the hand. So he comes with two left hands. Now this is going to be, of course, using the new armor of this figure. So he has the black and gold bit on the back side of the palm, which looks pretty good. Try and get that focus in. This particular hand, though, is actually to grip the sword, the double-sided sword. So I'll show you how to do that in a bit. It's very, very simple. The other hand then is one that the original Thanos that came out for Infinity War also came out with. But again, now using the armor piece. And then he comes with two left hands for the gauntlet. One, which is just a very open palmed hand. And the gems, the stones, look really, really cool on these. I really like the blue one. The turquoise stands out quite a lot to me personally. The gold on this is different from the Infinity War Thanos. So this one is more of a bronzish looking gold rather than a yellow gold. So there is that difference. The other hand is a gripping hand similar to the right hand. So this again has the infinity stones on them, which look really cool. I've got quite a harsh light going on, so it reflects quite brightly back, so it might look a bit dim like that if you put it in less direct light. Then he comes with two extra heads, which the original Thanos also came with. So he's got the original face, which is just him staring directly right ahead. Then he comes with this head where he's a bit more gritting his teeth, a bit more angry, used for battle, things like that. It's a bit different from Infinity War Thanos, so it's actually cut right here, so it goes into the helmet, whereas the Infinity War one was actually, you had the back of the skull and it kind of plonked onto the ball joint itself. Then final head is where he's smirking. So this head, both these heads actually came with Infinity War anyway, so it's just kind of reusing the same sort of thing. It looks the same, but it's good. It was good then, it's still good now. Then for this particular figure, though, he comes with his double-sided sword or blade. So this one is just for this figure. The Infinity War one didn't come with anything like that. So if you really want this, you're going to have to get this figure. This looks pretty good. It's just big hunk of plastic, really. It's quite thick on the blade this side, so you don't want to bend it too much either, because I'll show you the peg is not too... I mean, it works, but you just be careful with it. But it doesn't have any weathering. Wish it did have some weathering, but other than that, it looks pretty good. The detail on it is nice as well. What you do is you pull it off on one side. That's the side it comes off. The peg is shaped in an L shape. Try and show you the socket. So you shouldn't get this the wrong way around anyway. But what you do is you take that side off, get the hand that grips with the blade, and you just feed it through this way. You can do it either way, but this way is probably the easiest way, like that, and then put the other side back on, like so. Very simple. Then we go on to the actual figure. So there's going to be a few things to talk about with the figure, but let's talk about the general look of it and general design, which I think looks pretty good. At first, when I used to see pictures and videos and all the other stuff of other people's in-hand look of this figure, I thought the gold was a little bit muted on the armor, but I think it looks pretty good. I do wish, though, it was a bit more weathered looking, but other than that, it still looks pretty solid, this figure. The gold really does stand out. It shines quite a lot. I mean, I've got direct light going onto it, but I really do like the overall look of this figure. I mean, his helmet also looks really, really good. You can't really move up with it, which I'll show you in just a moment, but it looks really good. The overall design of this costume is quite good. However, apparently though, observant fans out there realized, or maybe we just learned, just like I did from forums and stuff, that the sash or belt on the Thanos figure, not just on this S.H.Figuarts, but also on the Hasbro stuff, the sash is the wrong way around. Apparently this single piece one should actually be on the butt side, and then this triple piece one should actually be on the front side. Thankfully though, on the S.H.Figuarts, it's very, very easy to swap, and I'll show you that. I've done it previously, but I'm going to show you again in this video. It's very, very straightforward to do. The reason for that is probably because manufacturers, licensees have to work on these figures way before the movie comes out, probably on non-final material, concept art, things like that, and that's probably what happened. Because if you see some of the concept art for Thanos in his armor, that's actually what's happened. He's still wearing a single piece sash on the front. So that's probably all it is. It's not a big deal to me. I think it looks fine any which way. I know the Hot Toys has this on the other side though, so those guys probably got the updated memo, but I think it looks fine. So if you don't really want to tinker with it, then you don't need to hassle with it. But it is very simple, which I'll show you. But overall though, this figure does look very, very cool. He's about as tall as the Infinity War Thanos. I think maybe a slight bit taller because of the thickness of the boots. I'll show you Infinity War Thanos side by side towards the end of this video. But let's go through the articulation. And so, like I said, he cannot move his head up a lot because of the helmet and then the collar, which is down here, which kind of blocks it all. But looking down, you can look down a good amount with the aid of the neck joint too. Around the neck, this is soft plastic. It can move. So there's cuts in there on both sides. I kind of hope that will stay strong and resilient for a good while, because I just feel like something like that might end up cracking, whether it be paint cracks or just expanding with the way it's cut. But it looks cool at the moment. You can tilt side to side, look left and right, which is all good. His arm can move up like so, very similar to the Infinity War Thanos, but it does get trapped because of the armor. Pull it down a bit, and then it can lift his arm up a little bit more. Lift his back up, not too much. Pull it down a bit, much more. You can go up and down. You can try go it all the way around, but then you'll have to kind of maneuver his arm a bit. If I try that, it's probably going to pop out the socket, which is one minor issue I've had with this figure. It doesn't always happen, but it can happen, so I'm not going to show you that right now. He doesn't have a twist on the upper bicep. That's all just kind of in that one socket. I think that would have been cool, but Infinity War Thanos didn't have that either. Then for the elbow, you can bend it about 90 degrees like so. Got pretty big muscles. The hand, then, it's similar as the Infinity War Thanos, so you can go up and down, but it also has the extended range like that, which pulls out a little bit, and then you've got much bigger range to kind of curl the fist. This can make things a bit awkward though, to change the fists or the hands, but interestingly, and a good thing in a way, was also they included it for the right hand this time. Infinity War Thanos that has a regular right hand, he doesn't have an extendable one, so I'll show you the extension here. Same thing, he can move it all the way up. Without it, he can only go about that much, so with it, all the way up. But like I said, this made it very difficult to change hands, so when I did the Infinity War video, I was kind of really excited about that and hoped they did it again, and I did get the wish, but it's a bit like yeah, be careful what you wish for, because it's really a bit fiddly to change the hands. Maybe it's just my figure, but I'll show you that in a moment. Then moving down to his torso, he can crunch like so, and then lean back like so. I feel that he's going to be a bit top heavy. He is actually top heavy a little bit, and this might loosen up over time because it's not that secure or stiff right now. He's a little bit loose on the top side. It's something I mentioned for Hulk and Infinity War Thanos too, but I think it's just something I will always be concerned with bigger dude figures. Twisting at the bottom, at the top too. By the way, this is where I'm going to show you how to change the sash. So if you crunch him a bit more, then he'll automatically just pop off of his ball joint. Maybe that might not happen for you, but so try and tinker with it a bit more. I don't break it, of course, but mine came off relatively easily. So he'll pop off. I put him to the side, the top half. I've already done this, so this is actually already loose. So what it is, when you originally take this off, this is probably going to be glued a little bit, very slightly around the backside here and around here. If you put some strong light on it, you will see some gap occurring, so you can kind of get a box cutter or an X-Acto knife and try and peel it off. Be very careful though, because you don't want to damage it and cut too much. You might be able to get it off with a little bit of heat by using a hairdryer, but for me, I just kind of tugged a little bit, let it go, tugged a little bit, let it go, and it just came off like so. And then if you see as well, there's these little square bits on here and on the other side, and they fit directly on the rectangular bits here and here too. So all you got to do is just swap this around and fit it back on. Now it's not going to stick. You can add some glue to it if you want that extra firmness, but I'm happy with leaving it as it is, and it fits securely into those little cutouts, so it's fine. And there we go. It's really that simple if you want to change it. And then what you do, you just line them up again, and then it clicks back into place. Now because again mine isn't glued anymore, so the sash is loose, but to be honest, I don't mind that. I'm perfectly fine with leaving it as it is. So yeah, that's what I've done, and now he's back to his whatever should be the final way the costume or the sash sits. So very, very simple. So I hope that helps you out if you did want to try and do that with your one. It may be a similar sort of a process with the Hasbro's Marvel Legends figures too. Check that out if you want. Probably a better idea to see videos on that too, because I don't collect Marvel Legends, so I won't be able to help you on that one. But yeah, very simple. Moving on then, down to his leg. I have a similar problem with his upper leg, just as I did with Infinity War Thanos, where the leg is a little bit loose. It's not as badly loose as Infinity War Thanos, but it still is quite loose, which can make certain poses a little bit troublesome to work with. And also, I cannot do the twist so much on this leg. I can show you then on the right leg, because it'll be easier and hopefully it doesn't pop off or anything. But here we go. So you can pull it down, and then you can kick up. You can see, because listen to the tightness of it, which is not bad, it's fine. And then back again. That's how far he's going to pull his leg back. And then he's got a twist here, which you can see it works fine. If I try that though on the left leg, pull it down, it's fine, but the twist doesn't really work that great, and it's just a little bit loose, this one. It's weird coincidence that it's happened on this figure too, but it is what it is. So I just kind of wish S.H.Figuarts would kind of look into these things a bit, because it's not just these two Thanos figures that has happened with. It's happened with a few figures where I'm kind of expecting somewhere to be a loose fitting. You know, like if you saw my Thor video, I had a loose fitting at the elbow. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. Then coming down, then he can bend his knee like so, and then he's got the protruding bit of his boot. And then for the last bit is the pivot on his ankle, which is hindered a little bit by the way his boot is cut out, but it's fine. And then he's got the hinge, which Infinity War Thanos does not have. So that's the legs done. So you can see the loose bit there, like I mentioned, but also I didn't mention the looseness on his right arm, like here. It's a little bit loose here too. This did happen, the arm especially did happen a little bit after tinkering with it a little bit and putting him into various poses, taking a few pictures. So it may have been just that, but this one was loose out of the box. So that's a bit disappointing. So if I'm having him holding Hulk, which I'll have a picture right now, it was a bit troublesome because of the weight of Hulk. The legs would split up way too easily, whereas if it was a bit more of a stiff joint, it should just stay put. So that's a bit of a problem for me. I think, yeah, that's covered all the articulation and general aesthetics of this figure, and it looks really, really good. I'm going to show you how to change his face, which is very, very simple. All you got to do is get the helmet off. Sometimes it will come off as one piece. Pull off that. Let's put him down. Get the helmet again, and then let's go with his toothy one. Put the face inside the helmet like so, and then just line it up that's almost popped out, but yeah, line it up, and there we go. It's very easy to do. You can actually use this head on the Infinity War Thanos head. You just pull off the entire head, including this back piece here, and then you can put it on Infinity War Thanos. It won't obviously match because this one's got the helmet, but then that means you can use the bold Thanos on this guy. So if you wanted a helmet-less look, then that can be applied. Then to change his hand, now this is where it gets really, really annoying because of the extending part of this, like this hand here. Now, you may have your own way to do this. I'm not really sure which way to do this. Still, I haven't settled on one way. But what seems to work for me after a lot of like pulling this on and off is basically where this bisecting cut here on the ball joint is, I try and just get the hand and then I'll bend it like so, and then it comes off. This is super risky. I'm just not really overall comfortable doing that because over time this little bit might just snap off. Something just might get damaged, and I'm not convinced that's the best way to do it. I'll show you again. If I pull it out, what usually happens is, yeah, that's what happens. So I'm not convinced of doing this bendy method. Let's do it again. Like, so you can see that the gap is occurring. So I'm very, very, yeah, just not comfortable doing that. But I'll just show you. That's how I've done it for now. And what we'll do, we'll put on this hand. Actually, no, let's put on the one with the blade. I guess if you want to avoid that problem, just don't plug the hand in too much. Just kind of leave it kind of as far as it can go. It might vary depending on your figure and the sockets itself, but I'm just going to put mine on fully. There you go. Nope, it hasn't gone in yet. Bit awkward with the blade already on. Yeah, I think I got it. There we go. And of course the extension works. But again, pulling it too much and then the extension might just come out fully. Similarly then, for the left hand, I had a problem with that, so I'm going to have to do the whole bendy thing again, which is just not super comfortable, because if I pull it like that, let's just show you, let's see if it happens. Yeah, the peg comes out. I tried many which way to try and, many alignments, like if this is aligned with that, does that work? If it's the other way around, does that work? And yeah, it just wasn't happening. So what I do, again, I have the extended piece, not fully extended, I just put it in back all the way in, and then just bend downwards like so, and then it comes off. This one on the left hand I found was a little bit easier to do, but again, not entirely comfortable. Get the other hand then. So it's just going to be the open hand, and then we just put that on, and there we go. That's how to do the hand. Now I made it look a bit simpler, I think, than it really is for me. I really don't like changing the hands on this figure. It's just too weird, and you don't get replacement ball joints, so I'm just worried that if it does inevitably snap off, then snap, then I'm gonna be a bit bummed, because yeah, I won't know how to replace that unless I go onto eBay and buy a third-party part, second to buying an entirely new figure. But that's a bit annoying on that side. So overall, it is a very good figure. I think it looks super good. The weathering on the lack of weathering is a bit of a bummer on the overall look of the figure, and that's something that would have given it a completely cool and really finished this figure off really nicely. But it still is a really cool looking figure, don't get me wrong. Like, I do really enjoy, I really like the way this figure looks, and I think if you collect S.H.Figuarts anyway, and the MCU stuff, then this is super cool. But the issues of the loose leg, bit of a loose shoulder joint, and then the way the hands work, that's a bit annoying for me. So I just really need to call that out. But overall, I do like the figure. Then let's size them up with Infinity War Thanos very quickly. So hopefully you can kind of see my camera's angled downwards, so the height may not be so obvious, but there is a very minute difference between Endgame Thanos, Infinity War Thanos. Very slight, that this one is a bit taller. Then bringing out Iron Man. Let's put him here. There we go. Get rid of the stray hair. Then bringing out Hulk, who's bigger than the other guys, so you can barely fit in. Let me move Iron Man back out, and Infinity War Thanos back out, and then let's get them together. So you can see Hulk is still quite a fair bit taller than Thanos. There we go. So he's still one of the larger S.H.Figuarts figures out there. Not the largest. That probably still goes to either Hulk or one of the Broly figures from Dragon Ball. But he's still a very, very hench dude. And for a hench guy, he moves pretty good. He's got pretty good articulation. But that's Avengers not Infinity War, Endgame figure in a nutshell, in a very, very long nutshell. But I hope you were able to secure your one, because I know this guy sold out very quickly on pre-orders, and yeah, you kind of have to pay eBay prices for him. I got mine though from CD Japan, but I got stung with customs, so it's a bit more than the retail price. But then also because I bought him with Ant-Man and Black Widow, that kind of jacked up the overall price a bit after shipping is concerned. I will do more videos following this, but it's going to be of Infinity War S.H.Figuarts, so I finished that run, and then I'll go back to the Endgame, which includes Ant-Man, Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, Mark 85, and the others that are due out later this year. In any case, thanks for watching, and please stay safe, whatever it is you're doing, wherever you are as well. See you in the next video.